Who was most likely to improvise during a scene?
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Right now, you look like Okay, come on, we got it.
Sacha Baron Cohen just exposed Marvel's darkest secret. The real reason Ironheart flopped wasn't bad writing, it was her. In a leaked interview, Cohen revealed Dominique Thorne's alleged on-set tyranny, rewriting scripts, bullying directors, and even getting Marvel to fire crew members who disagreed with her. But the wildest part? This wasn't just creative differences, it was a power grab. Insiders say Thorne demanded final cut on scenes, forced co-stars to reshoot her way, and left Kevin Feige scrambling to salvage the wreckage. So how did one actress derail a $200 million Marvel project? Why did Robert Downey Jr. lie to us? And will Disney ever recover from this PR nightmare? Stick around, because what really happened behind the scenes is worse than you've heard. When Ironheart was first announced, Marvel positioned Riri Williams as the future of the MCU, a genius inventor who'd honor Tony Stark's legacy while carving her own path. But from day one, the project was plagued by skepticism. Comic fans knew Riri had never been a popular character, with her comics underperforming and her personality criticized as bratty and unearned. Despite this, Marvel pushed forward.
I can understand why she's frustrated. That's how I feel watching her interviews.
How do you feel about the impact that she's having on young Black girls? And I'm going to be completely honest, on Black women.
You know, this is yet another area that's getting vibrant. It's getting full in the way that it should.
Banking on the appeal of a young Black female lead in a franchise desperate for fresh faces. Early hype was fueled by Dominique Thorne's charismatic debut in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. Reports claim Dominique clashed with writers over Riri's characterization, demanding last-minute script changes to make her stronger, i.e., more abrasive. By the time filming began, the set was divided. Some crew loyal to the directors, others deferring to Dominique's demands. The chaos spilled into the final product. Ironheart's pacing was a mess. Riri's arc felt unearned, and the show's attempts at social commentary, like her stealing tech for the oppressed, came off as hypocritical when the character showed zero remorse. Critics tore into the show, but the real death knell came from fans. Social media erupted with memes dubbing her Ironheart and DE Iron Man, mocking everything from her cringe-worthy dialogue, such as, "I'm smarter than Tony Stark."
One major development going on now involves more to do with Dominique Thorne going off at the fans yet again in the midst of the Ironheart ratings disaster.
To baffling plot holes like biting an electric wire to hack it. Even Robert Downey Jr.'s pre-release praise couldn't save it. Fans saw through the desperation. The show's viewership plummeted after episode 2, and Marvel quietly scrubbed it from future crossover plans. Now, the bigger question looms. Was this failure inevitable, or did Dominique's alleged behavior accelerate the collapse? The Ironheart drama might have faded into Marvel's graveyard of forgotten flops, if not for Sacha Baron Cohen's jaw-dropping interview. Months after the show's release, the actor sat down with a niche podcast and dropped a truth bomb. Dominique Thorne, he claimed, turned the set into a creative dictatorship. According to Cohen, she routinely overruled directors, rewrote scenes on the spot, and even dictated camera angles. Behavior so extreme that crew members joked about her Iron Dictator nickname in private. He described one incident where Dominique halted filming mid-scene, declaring, "This isn't how Riri would react," and forced a rewrite while the crew waited for hours. But the most damning revelation? Cohen suggested Marvel cut his role as Mephisto, a character fans had waited years to see, because he refused to reshoot scenes under Dominique's unworkable demands. If true, it explains why the show's villain felt underwhelming, and why Cohen was conspicuously absent from promotions. Even more shocking, he hinted that Marvel knew about the turmoil, but chose silence over accountability, fearing backlash. The interview went viral overnight, with fans dissecting every clue. Had Dominique's ego really derailed the show? Why did Marvel, a studio known for tight control, allow this? And why was Cohen the only cast member brave enough to speak out? The answer might lie in the cast's eerie silence post-release. No celebratory press tour, no cast reunions, just awkward Instagram unfollows and vague posts hinting at tension.
That is all ego. You would never find me with an ego like that, not with my fallopian tubes.
Comes to the numbers. Spoiler alert, kind of exactly what we expect. Ironheart ratings in the gutter.
One crew member's since-deleted TikTok summed it up. The hardest part of this job wasn't the work, it was the people. Cohen's claims painted a picture of a set where creativity was stifled by one person's unchecked ambition, and Marvel's response, or lack thereof, suggested they'd rather bury the mess than confront it. While Sacha Baron Cohen's interview was the match that lit the fire, it was the flood of anonymous crew leaks that poured gasoline on the Ironheart scandal. Insiders began sharing horror stories on forums and industry blogs, revealing a production so toxic it made Justice League's reshoots look harmonious. One report described Dominique Thorne as a tornado of rewrites, scribbling over scripts with a pen and handing them back with no discussion. Another leak claimed she demanded a scene be reshot 6 times because she disliked how her hair looked in the frame, a delay that cost thousands per minute. But the most damning account came from a camera operator who quit mid-production. She'd argue with the DP about lighting, then turn to the director and say, "No, we're doing it my way." It was surreal. The crew's nickname for her, the Iron Dictator, spread like wildfire, and the anecdotes got worse. A now infamous night shoot was allegedly scrapped entirely after Dominique refused to perform a pivotal confrontation with Mephisto, calling the dialogue out of character. The crew waited for hours before packing up, and the scene was later rewritten to her specifications. Even makeup artists weren't spared. One posted a cryptic Instagram story. "Sometimes the costume isn't the only armor people wear on set." The leaks painted a picture of a star who'd been given too much power too soon, with Marvel either unwilling or unable to rein her in.
Now, Thorne delivered the following, in a desperate play to salvage the series. "I think Marvel fans," she says, "just need to take a step back and to stop focusing on our support for both diversity and LGBTQ and claiming that as some form of a hidden message."
And the fallout wasn't just creative, it was financial. With each delay, the budget ballooned, and insiders claim Kevin Feige was furious when early cuts tested poorly. But the most telling detail? Marvel's damage control. NDAs were reportedly tightened, and crew members were warned against leaking. Yet the stories kept coming. The takeaway was clear. Ironheart wasn't just a bad show, it was a cautionary tale about what happens when ego replaces collaboration. By the time Ironheart wrapped filming, Marvel executives weren't celebrating. They were in full-blown crisis mode. Internal sources claim early test screenings were so disastrous that Kevin Feige ordered frantic reshoots and edits, but the problems ran deeper than pacing or CGI. The real issue? Dominique Thorne's performance had become a PR liability. Scenes where Riri came off as arrogant or unlikable were quietly trimmed, and Mephisto's role, already reduced during filming, was gutted further in post-production. According to insiders, Marvel's strategy was simple: minimize the damage. Trailers were delayed, the marketing push was scaled back, and the cast was kept on a tight leash during promotions. No press tours, no behind-the-scenes featurettes, just a quiet Disney Plus drop and crossed fingers. But the studio's most telling move, scrubbing Ironheart from future MCU slates.
Natalie AI thing seems utterly preposterous and ridiculous, and even for an MCU show, I'm finding it to be a little bit of a bridge too far to go. The heist crew, all lame. Every single one of them, all lame.
Originally, Riri was meant to appear in Armor Wars and Young Avengers, but those plans have vanished. Even Dominique's co-stars distanced themselves. One liked a tweet calling the show ego-driven, while another gave a very diplomatic interview answer. Every experience teaches you something. The message was clear. Marvel was cutting its losses. Yet the question remains, why did they let it get this bad? Some speculate Dominique was untouchable because of the studio's diversity commitments. Others believe Feige was too hands-off with Disney Plus shows. Either way, the fallout was undeniable. Ironheart didn't just fail. It left Marvel's reputation bruised, fans disillusioned, and a talented cast caught in the crossfire. And the studio's silence? That spoke loudest of all. The moment Ironheart hit Disney Plus, the fan backlash was immediate and brutal. But it wasn't just about the show's quality. For many, it symbolized everything wrong with modern Marvel: agenda-driven storytelling, unlikable protagonists, and a studio that seemed to ignore its core audience. Social media exploded with memes dubbing Riri Williams DE Iron Man and Iron Shark, mocking her arrogance, like claiming she was smarter than Tony Stark while biting an electric wire to hack it. Critics called out the hypocrisy of a hero who stole tech for the oppressed, yet faced zero consequences, while fans of the comics pointed out that Riri was never a popular character.
And so in this, I'm not sure what they're meant to be, because this character isn't to be confused with Slug.
Slug, our hacker extraordinaire.
Who is also the exact opposite in the same show. I'm really confused.
Her solo series flopped, and her personality was widely criticized as unearned and abrasive. But the real firestorm came when defenders blamed the backlash on racism and misogyny, a claim that only fueled more outrage. Viewers shot back with examples of beloved Black heroes like Black Panther and Blade, proving they didn't reject diversity, they rejected bad writing. The debate split the fandom. Was Ironheart a victim of toxic fan culture, or did Marvel arrogantly assume audiences would embrace any character as long as they checked the right boxes? The answer, for many, came down to one glaring issue. Riri wasn't humble. Unlike Peter Parker or even Shuri, she lacked the relatable struggle that made Tony Stark's legacy resonate. Instead, she demanded respect she hadn't earned, and the show's refusal to acknowledge this, framing her as a flawless genius, only made her more insufferable. Even worse, the alleged behind-the-scenes drama mirrored the on-screen problems. A star who believed she was above collaboration and a studio too scared to say no. The result? A show that pleased no one. Neither the diversity advocates it was meant to empower nor the longtime fans it alienated.
Was a massive disappointment in the ratings for them, certainly. We do know, when you go and you look at through these charts, the first couple days it was out, because we have 3 days of Ironheart in these numbers, just like we had 3 days of Daredevil in these numbers. And Daredevil in those first 3 days had over 300 million minutes watched. And that was with less possible runtime than something like Ironheart. Yet we know that it hasn't matched that.
Before Ironheart, Dominique Thorne was a rising star with an Oscar-nominated mentor in Angela Bassett and Marvel's full backing. Now, her future in Hollywood looks shaky at best. After Sacha Baron Cohen's interview went viral, Dominique's response, a vague Instagram story calling the claims baseless, only made things worse. Fans noticed she'd quietly unfollowed co-stars, scrubbed Ironheart posts, and disabled comments, while Marvel conspicuously left her out of upcoming projects. The rumors grew louder. Had she been blacklisted? Industry insiders whispered that her reputation for being difficult was spreading, with one anonymous producer calling her untouchable for major franchises. Even her defenders struggled to explain the silence from Marvel co-stars. No public support, no reunions, just awkward red carpet dodges when asked about her. The contrast to other MCU newcomers was stark. Iman Vellani in Ms. Marvel and Xochitl Gomez in Doctor Strange too faced criticism too, but their humility and fan engagement earned them goodwill.
Now is that we know that Kevin Feige and Bob Iger, they're also engaging in damage control about this show, saying things like, don't trust the negative reviews, don't trust the trades, stuff like that.
Dominique, meanwhile, seemed to double down, reposting a cryptic quote about being misunderstood as a leader. The fallout extended beyond Marvel. A planned indie film she was attached to quietly recast her role, and her social media, once full of Hollywood events, went eerily quiet. Was this a temporary setback or a career death sentence? The answer likely depends on whether she can prove the Ironheart disaster wasn't her fault, but with every leaked story and former co-star's side-eye, that's looking harder to do. Ironheart wasn't just a flop, it was a wake-up call. If Marvel wants to regain fan trust, they need to confront the hard lessons this mess exposed. First, diversity isn't the problem. Bad writing is. Fans loved Miles Morales and Black Panther because they were earned, not handed a legacy they didn't respect. Second, listen to your audience. The backlash against Riri wasn't about her race or gender, it was about her entitlement. Third, hold stars accountable. If Dominique's behavior was half as bad as alleged, Marvel's failure to intervene set a dangerous precedent. The studio's biggest mistake? Assuming hype alone could sell a character no one asked for.
Ironheart is the biggest L of Marvel of all time. The reactions are just spectacular. Supposedly smarter than Tony Stark. Bites an electric wire. Sells her soul to gain magic powers. Uses new powers to steal. What did the writers mean by this? Smoke detector beeps.
Instead of forcing Riri as Stark's successor, why not use organic fan favorites like Harley Keener from Iron Man 3 or Riri's comic rival Arno Stark? Even War Machine, an established hero, would have been a safer choice. The MCU's strength was its heart. Heroes who struggled, grew, and earned their place. Ironheart forgot that, and the result was a show that felt like a lecture, not a story. Moving forward, Marvel needs to prioritize character over messaging, collaboration over ego, and above all, humility. Because if there's one thing this saga proved, it's that even the mightiest empire can crumble when it stops listening. So who killed Ironheart? Was it Dominique Thorne's alleged tyranny, Marvel's spinelessness? Or a fan base unfairly harsh on new heroes? The truth is, everyone shares blame. Dominique, if the claims are true, abused her power and alienated her team. Marvel failed to manage their star or craft a compelling story. And yes, some fans were overly vicious, but their frustration came from a real place. The MCU wasn't built on lectures, it was built on heart. Tony Stark wasn't loved because he was perfect, he was loved because he grew. Ironheart forgot that, and its collapse should be a warning. Legacy isn't given, it's earned. As for what's next, Marvel can still fix this by listening, learning, and putting story first. But if they don't, well, they've already seen what happens when you betray the people who made you king. Was Ironheart sabotaged from within, or did Marvel set Dominique up to fail? Drop your theories below. And if you think this video exposed the truth, smash like and subscribe. The algorithm loves drama, almost as much as Hollywood does.
And they were doing everything in their power to really prop up this show. That's exactly why they had RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., some weeks ago going on talk shows to really say that Riri is the best thing to the MCU to represent the legacy of Tony Stark.